10 juicy stocks to watch next week. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor and I got the hoodie to prove that fact. And today we're speaking about some stocks to watch next week. So we do a video like this every single Saturday on the channel. We just kind of do a recap on everything we've spoken about during the past week, and I give you guys exactly what I am going to be keeping an eye on next week, why I'm keeping an eye on them, what I expect to happen. So it is generally stocks that I speak about on a regular basis, and we go through everything quite quickly because there's 10 stocks, people, and I don't want the video to be 18 days long. But anyway, we have 10 juicy companies, the large majority of which I am invested in. One or two in there that I'm not quite yet, but I am keeping a close eye on. So right before we get into the video, my friends, can I please ask you to hit that juicy like button? It really helps me and the channel out. If you're new around here, what are you waiting for, my friend? Hit that juicy red subscribe button and join the family of investors. We're trying to get to 50,000. And please drop me a comment down below. I want to know what you are watching next week. With that being said, guys, let's waste no time into the video. Starting it off today with probably one of the most exciting and most important companies to keep an eye on next week. We're looking at Hyliion. We're not looking at Tortoise Acquisition Corp. We're not looking at SHLL. We're looking at Hyliion. So I mean, horrific day yesterday, and in fact, it's been a pretty horrific week in general. It hasn't been a fun time at all. It's been full of ups and downs. It's been pretty insane. It's not what we've been expecting. Even on the monthly chart, we are down 22%. We're at $39.50 a share. This is Hyliion. The merger has gone through. This is a company who was $55 in the past before the merger even had gone through. Pretty obvious why I want to watch this company. The merger's gone through. We haven't seen the price action any of us expected. I want to see how the market reacts Monday. I want to see what the market sentiment is. You know, are people going to be buying back in at these cheap prices, or are we getting ready to just trade sideways for a while, or even go down a little bit further? The merger's gone through. Hyliion received over $500 million from the merger going through. That should be enough to keep these guys going for a considerable period of time. We should be able to ramp up production, and it should be very good for the company. I mean, also, Thomas Healy is ringing the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange on Monday, which is pretty cool. So this hopefully will be quite good for obvious publicity reasons, get more people involved, get more people interested. But I just want to see what happens. I'm amazed at what we've seen happen price-wise. Now, it did come to my attention that they weren't active to trade on Webull or TD, so maybe that had something to do with the sell-off. Maybe some people did want to buy at these cheap prices, but definitely worth keeping an eye on this. You know, some pretty crazy price action have been happening consistently for a week plus now, even a month. It's definitely one worth watching. Workhorse, baby. I mean, damn. 23.62 cents a share. Oof. I mean, considering that we were up over $30 for 2 days in a row, we thought the worst was over and we had this terrible 25+% crash. You know, we went up on this beautiful 27% run. We thought, this is it, we're going back up. And then we just got destroyed. 4 red days in a row, down 16%. I think there's a few reasons for this. The main one being the fiscal year has ended and there's no USPS contract. So a lot of the short-term investors got out, a lot of the options guys are out for a while. The best case scenario didn't happen, so some people are running away. Next week, I think anything could happen, okay? In 2 weeks' time, a lot of people have October 14th or October 16th calls, I forget which. But I mean, that's going to be big as well, especially since we now expect that the next date we should be looking towards is October 14th to 16th. And if it's not to happen then, we have to hope by the end of the calendar year. Workhorse is in for a crazy ride. I've made my stance on these guys incredibly clear. I mean, I am very, very long on this company. It's so volatile, it's so high risk, high reward, but at the end of the day, I love the company to pieces. I believe in everything they're doing, and I think they are going to be incredibly successful. There's no major news we need to go through. Nothing crazy has happened. I think the fact that we're at these prices now when we were at 30s before, things have only gotten better for Workhorse. The likes of the Charge Act being passed, etc. I mean, I think we're still in a beautiful position. Let's just see what happens next week though. But really, in 2 weeks is when I think we'll start seeing some incredible volatility. Let's just hope it's going in the upwards direction, baby. Okay, so of course we're going to have to speak about Lordstown Motors as well. What a crazy week for this company, okay? I mean, look, we see the insurance truck in front of the White House with Donald Trump himself, Steve Barnes and Donald Trump having a nice chat about the car, saying, look how beautiful and amazing this car is. But then Donald Trump, you know, he's been sent to the hospital. He's not in a good place, the Roni. So now it's an assumption that everybody from Lordstown is going to have to get tested, and who knows what's going to happen there. But I mean, when these guys were $14 to $17 a share, I said they were the most undervalued EV stock in the world. I'm happy to see them at these prices. I do want more shares in this company. If I see these guys go down towards the $21 mark or so, okay, which is possible. I mean, that's only what, just over 10% away right now? It would be very difficult for me to not buy more in this company. I have 210 shares here. I would very much so like to have 300 plus. I initially bought at 1180, I even bought at 24. So where I would be really willing to add more would be around that 20 to 21 range. And remember guys, I am very long on Lordstown Motors. This is one of the EV companies I could see myself genuinely holding for 5, 10, 20, 400 plus years. There's some plays that, you know, have a 6-month time frame or a year or two. Lordstown Motors is one where I don't have an exit plan even a little bit, but I want to see what happens next week, because yeah, this is one where I would love, absolutely love to buy some more cheap shares. CCXX guys, okay, Multiplan. Well, we are doing terribly, okay, absolutely terribly. A SPAC that's trading under $10. A lot of you guys may never have even seen that before. So I have 150 shares here. I bought around 1130, so I am down a bit. I'm down, what, just over 10%. I still think the downside is extremely minimal. The merger is set to go through next week, people. I want to see what the market has to do. You know, I want to see what comes to us on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in particular. I want to see if some people actually start to get behind this company, because when I invest in a SPAC or a growth stock in general, I like to make money very quickly. I mean, I want to be up 20+% in my position within a couple of weeks, because that gives you a bit of a buffer. You know, it means that you can decide, okay, market sentiment is good, I'm going to buy a little bit more. Yes, it's going to hurt my cost basis, but I'm going to have a bigger position. They're now more established. We can see what the market sentiment is. But if nothing happens, it goes to show, you know, market sentiment is not going great. And if there's no new news, it's a tough one. I definitely think that long term, this is an incredible company. I just have to ask the question, how long am I going to be willing to sit on dead money, essentially? You know what I mean? So that's where I stand with them. And let me make it extremely clear. I think they are disgustingly undervalued. I don't think I've ever used 3 disgustings. So next week will tell a lot for me. I more than likely am going to buy more. We'll just have to wait and see what happens though. Okay, boom. The halfway point. Virgin Galactic, baby. We're at 20.77 a share. I mean, what a week it was. What a month it's been in general. But on that 5-day chart, you guys can see we're up from 18.28 all the way up to 13, okay? But if we go back to the monthly chart, we're up a lot more. We're up over 25%. So why is this happening? You're all more than likely aware at this stage, the October test flights. So the next Virgin Galactic space flight test is set for October 22nd. But be aware, a flight window opens October 22nd, so it may happen then. It may be a day, 2 days, even 3 days after that. Don't go buying October 22nd calls, essentially. It may not happen this day. Just be aware of that, because I see so many people speaking about this October 22nd number. It even says it right here. The October 22nd date marks the beginning of a flight window, so the launch may happen in the following days. So don't get scared if it doesn't happen the 22nd, okay? But anyway, I'm a long-term investor in Virgin Galactic. I've accepted my fate. You know, this is a really speculative, really high-risk, high-reward company. And I think the longer you're willing to hold a company like Virgin Galactic, the more likely you are to make good money, or else lose a lot of money. I'm not in these guys to $30 or $40. I'm not in these guys to make a quick 100, 200%. I'm in these guys for a long time, because I believe that they could create a brand new industry that is commercial spaceflight. And I mean, they will have a monopoly. They will be the only publicly traded company there. Not only that, they'll be the only company offering this service for more than likely a considerable period of time. So if October 22nd goes to plan, it's going to be beautiful. So it's worth keeping an eye on next week. Again, I'm really interested to see what the market sentiment is. I'm interested to see, will people start buying in anticipation of these space flights? I mean, we've already seen that start. We've also seen analysts getting behind Virgin Galactic. Just a very exciting company in general right now. Chargepoint, okay, merging with the SPAC Switchback Energy, ticker symbol SBE. It's been a crazy, I mean truly crazy month for these guys, okay? So we can see it gets announced. We shot up fast, okay, 36%. Even for a SPAC right now, that's pretty decent. As of right now, we're up 47.27% at $15.39 a share. Trump just signed off on the Charge Act, okay, so that could well mean good things for this company going forwards. I do think this is one of the companies that is going to blow up relatively soon. I mean, I think that we're going to get some big volatility spikes. I think a lot of retail investors are going to get interested, and ultimately I do think we're going to start moving upwards at a considerable rate quite soon. I think it's a very exciting company, okay, and they've proved themselves to be a very good company over the last few years. And so I opened an initial position of 100 shares at, I think it was $13.93 a share. And so I want a bigger position. There hasn't been enough news yet to justify opening one for me personally. So if we get a big piece of news, or if we are to see another dip, I more than likely would be willing to pick up another 100 shares or so, because I do think this is going to be a very long-term hold, and I think that in the very long term they have massive potential. I mean, everybody's going to need charges for their electric vehicles, people. So yeah, not too much to say here just yet. there hasn't been much news. You can see it was a very quiet week in general, filled with ups and downs, but not a lot happened. The merger has now been set, it is happening, and I thought that, that would have led to a more bullish market sentiment, but we haven't seen that yet. So I just think it's very worth keeping a close eye on next week, essentially. That's all there is to it. Hopefully some news comes out, hopefully we get some information. Okay, Green Power Motor Company. Let's have a look at the monthly chart. Okay, so we were up a lot more. We were up at $16 or so a share, so we're down 22% on the month. Okay, 6-month chart. What a journey it's been. What an insane journey it was. You'll all remember this when we shot up above $22 a share or so. The reverse split obviously happened, so yeah, that equates for quite a bit of it. But right now we're sitting at $12.31 a share. I have a very exciting video in relation to these guys coming out very soon, probably Monday, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But I have to say, I've finally given them quite a bit of research. I've spent a lot of time on them, and I'm getting close to pulling the trigger. The thing is, I'm so heavily exposed to EV. I'm gonna have to, trim down on at least one of my positions to justify owning the position in this company. But I think they're very exciting, and I think that they are targeting markets that really need to be targeted by an EV company. They've built their vehicles from the ground up. They seem absolutely incredible. I know revenue is quite low at the moment. Sales and deliveries are quite low. We have some challenges until the Roni's gone, but I mean, that's okay. You guys know me. I like investing in companies who are, close to blowing up, essentially. Worth keeping an eye on, though, okay? Lots of news has been coming out for these guys lately as well, and you guys should know on this channel, I love seeing that. If we go to the news section on the website, we can see news 30th of September, 25th, September 8th, September 1st. That's a lot of news, guys, and that is something I, as an investor, love seeing. So yes, this is one of the companies I'm not yet invested in. I have spoken about them briefly a couple of times on the channel before. It is a little bit upsetting because I wanted to buy here, but they were OTC and I wasn't able to, and they briefly shot up literally a whole lot of money. But I mean, since then, they have give back a lot of that value, so maybe we're going to get a good opportunity here. Fortress Value Acquisition, okay? $14 a share, merging with MP Materials. Exciting company, and why I think they're particularly exciting right now, a Trump executive order targets rare earth minerals and China. So this could be very, very good for MP Materials. You will see on their website, MP Materials is a leading producer of rare earth materials to be listed on the NYSE through merger with Fortress Value. And again, rare earth materials to an extent ties in with EV because we use a lot of them in electric vehicle batteries. But you could also think about, semiconductor companies, pretty much anybody that uses technology. There's a lot of different avenues to go then with these kind of companies. So I will be honest, I'm still doing my research, and again, this is one of the companies I'm not invested in just yet, but seeing something like this really does make me want to start putting more time into it very quickly, because I think this could be absolutely massive. So this executive order is aimed at boosting domestic production of rare earth minerals, while reducing the country's dependence on China. So you can see why Trump would want to do this, but it could just benefit this company in particular. Okay, we do have another SPAC. Now this one is TRNE. Quite a lot of you guys will be aware of who these guys are. We're trading at just below $11 a share. And again, if we look on the weekly chart, it's just been slow and steady going down. And if we look on the monthly chart, not a whole lot's happened at all. And if we even go out a little bit further to the 6-month chart, you can see not a lot happened here. I mean, up 25% for a SPAC before selling off nearly all of that value. That's not fantastic. So I mean, these guys are merging with Desktop Metal, okay? They're a leader in mass production and turnkey additive manufacturing solutions, offering the fastest metal 3D printing technology in the market, up to 100 times the speed of legacy technologies. Awesome company, love it. It's innovative, it's sick, they're a market leader, you love to see it. Again, when I get into these SPACs, I want to see something happen within 2 or 3 weeks. I want to feel comfortable in my position very quickly, because then I get to see what the market sentiment is. Are other people feeling the same way as me? Do they want to buy? We haven't seen that with TRNE yet. I'm hoping that next week or the week after could be that week. I'll be keeping a very close eye on them. Again, I have 100 shares in the company, not a very big position, blah, blah, blah. We're at $10.94 now. Of course, a SPAC can drop below $10. We saw that with CCXX earlier on in the video, but it happens very, very rarely. As I said, you probably haven't even seen that before. So at current prices, downside is extremely low, but I want to see some news. I want to see some developments, some advancements before I invest more. Tesla stock, okay, down 7.4% yesterday. In the after hours, we're down again. We're at $415 a share, okay? And this comes after some absolutely insane news. Tesla delivered 139,300 vehicles in the third quarter, smashing its previous record. The company has said it wants to deliver 500,000 cars in 2020, and that may well become a reality despite these incredibly tough times. Tesla, I think, has been beaten up lately for very little reason. The stock split happened. That didn't change anything fundamentally, but since that stock split, it's been all downhill. I mean, we were at $500 a share with Tesla. We're still down 16% from there. We were down as much as 33%. Now, this is what Tesla does. I've said this many times on the channel. It's extremely volatile. I want to see what happens next week. I mean, how can they possibly release record quarterly deliveries during these tough times and not go up in value. And what I also want to see, because Tesla does to an extent lead the broader EV market, so I'm hoping that this could be the good news we need to start seeing our investments go back up. But obviously there's a lot of bad news out there as well. But I mean, it's Tesla. I'm long on Tesla. If I could just forget about them and come back in 10 years, I wish I could. Sadly, that's not how the world works. But guys, that is the 10 juicy stocks I will keep a particularly close eye on next week. So my friend, there we have it, the 10 companies that I will be keeping a particularly close eye on next week for one reason or another. It's really hard to predict what is going to happen next week. I mean, it really could go either way, especially with everything that's happening with Trump right now. I think there's going to be a lot of uncertainty in the market, and in general, people don't like uncertainty in the market. But anyway, if you enjoyed today's video, could I please ask you to hit that like button, drop me a comment, and subscribe if you're new around here, because all of that helps me out absolutely massively. I really would appreciate you. If you're interested, please hit the first link in my description, sign up to become a patron. You'll get full access to my buy and sell alerts, my private Discord, 25 plus free channels, a whole lot of juicy information, and you'll get to join a community of over 350 investors. But anyway guys, I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic rest of the weekend. I will see you for tomorrow's videos. Peace.